This is the story of a Buddhist monk buried in 1927 who remains to this day mysteriously suspended between life and death. It begins when Dasha Dorzo Itigilov, leader of Russia's Buddhists, or Pandito Hambo Lama, gathered his followers to announce his death. He predicted the coming terror under Stalin, warned them to flee, and said he'd return in 75 years. Then, in a deep meditation, he passed away. The Hambo Lama was buried as he died in the upright lotus position. 2 years later, Stalin's purges began. Monasteries were burned, the lamas who hadn't fled were killed or sent to labor camps. Buddhism in Russia was all but wiped out. Itigilov's body, meanwhile, was exhumed briefly twice. Packed in a box with salt, it was found to be perfectly preserved, the limbs flexible, the skin elastic. Finally, in 2002, the current Hambo Lama put the body on display to help the Buddhist revival. 75 years after his death, and just as he'd promised, Itigilov had returned.
He left his body for believers, to strengthen their faith, for those who doubt to stop doubting, and for those who don't believe to start thinking that there is something out there, that there is a God.
Scientists and theologians are trying to understand the mystery of the Hambo Lama's body. They even held an international conference here last year, but the 150 delegates attending were able to come up with no more than theories to explain how the body of an old monk who died 81 years ago remains little changed from that of a person who died 12 hours ago. Housed in the temple's top room, the monks reluctantly allowed me to see and touch the body, but not to film it. It had a musty smell, the skin waxy and moist. Scientists who've examined hair, skin and nail samples agree the body's protein structure matches that of a living person. The monks here testify that when the skin is broken, a reddish jelly oozes out. There is no evidence of embalming or the use of any chemical technique. Miracle or mystery, to many it's a question of faith. I see it as the incarnation of God on earth, said this man. It's like a miracle, seeing God with my own eyes. Buddhists believe that through meditation, Itigilov entered a state of so-called ultimate reality. Scientists call it anabiosis, or suspended animation. On this, science and religion appear to agree. Pandito Hambo Lama isn't alive, of course, but nor is he entirely dead. Jonah Hull, Al Jazeera, Buryatia.